So this video I'm going to show you how to make the title pages or the titles for the tops of all the pages on the yearbook. We're going to be using this font called Crash Landing. So if you go to assignment 6 in the slides, you can download the font here. So click on there and there's a link to download it. If you don't know how to download a font, click on this here. There's some instructions, and then also there's a backup for if you cannot download the font in the school computers for some reason it's not working. I also have a link to, let's see, where did I put that? Okay, if you can't download the font, click here and then you'll be getting this file here, which has all the alphabet already typed out in Illustrator, and you'd be able to do that just by copying one letter at a time. So you'd click on it and copy the S, like if you're doing science, and paste each letter in one at a time. So obviously that's not ideal, but it can be done if you can't get the font. All right, I'm going to show you how to make the titles, and I'll do it the typing way. So the first thing you'll need to do is go to File, New, and just get a web document and just click on the most common size. That's just fine. All right, and then you're going to type whatever titles I give you. So I'll be distributing what title you should do when I get back, or else over Zoom. So you click on their artboard, make sure you have all caps, and type your word. So while I'm going to drag across there and highlight it so it's selected, and then I'm going to go to my properties right here and go down to character, and I can edit my font there. You can also open a character panel separately. It's a little different than Photoshop, so let me just go ahead and show you where that is. So as you know, window has everything, and in Photoshop, character would be in the window here, but in Illustrator, for some reason, they decided to be tricky. They put it down here in type, and then they have character there. So you can edit fonts there, but I have mine in properties, so I'm going to go ahead and use it in there. So I have my word highlighted so I can change it, and I'm going to pick the font that I want, which is Crash Landing. I already have that on my computer. And let's make the size of the font, actually let's make it 300 because we want to make it pretty big. All right, so make your font 300, then go to type. Whoops, let me get out of the type mode. So click on your selection tool to get out of the typing mode. And what you want to do is make this into outlines so that you can edit each letter separately. So go to Type, Create Outlines. And then the next thing you need to do is ungroup it, because right now if you were to try to select each letter, it's all grouped. So go to Object, Ungroup, or you can go to Control-Shift-G. Now when I click on a letter, you can see it's separate. So what you should do first is click on each letter and give them just enough space so that they're not touching. They're just close to each other but not touching. All right, that looks fine like that. So if you didn't have the font, obviously what you would do is go over there and just copy each letter, copy an S and put it in your document, and you could just paste all the letters into a line and do it that way. All right, so since we have this font, now we want to group it. We ungrouped it to move the letters. Now we want to group it. So I'm going to select all of those. Go back here, Object, Group. Now everything's spaced apart and it's just one group. So you're going to turn in one of your headlines just black like this. So this first one is already done. So you need to export it as a PNG. So go to File, Export, Export as PNG, type the title where it says Save As, export, and then you need to have these settings. It needs to be high resolution because it's going in the yearbook, and you need to say the background color is transparent. Most PNGs have a transparent background, and say OK. All right, so that's the first way you're going to do it. And then I want you to make one more of the same word. This way is a little bit trickier, so I'm going to show you how to do that. Next part of the assignment is you're going to do one black one like you just did. That's your first version of it. And then you need to do another one where you have like you're going to have it filled with a shadow and an outline. I'm probably going to say to use white fill though instead, because we don't know what color background we're going to use on these pages. So just do it like this, but make it white. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Here's the first one that you did with black. Now we're going to make it have an outline and a shadow. So if you click on this group that you just made, if you hold the Option or Alt key, I'm not sure what it is on the PCs, it's an Option key on mine, but it might be an Alt on your computer. You can see that it turned that cursor into a double arrow. That means I can just drag a copy of it. If that doesn't work for you, just push copy and paste. But I like to do it that way. So hold the Alt or Option key and make a copy, or just copy and paste if you want. And then make this new copy white. So you can go over here to Properties, whoops, and just fill that one with white. All right, now we need to make an outline that goes around both of these. So I want you to select both of those copies, and you are going to either copy and paste both of those copies, or once again hold the Alt key and get that double arrow and drag a copy of it. And here is where you're going to learn something new. Make sure you have Properties open. We want to combine this all into one thing instead of a shadow and the white word and the black word. So go over to Pathfinder and you're going to click this first one called Unite. You can also find that under Window. There's Pathfinder there as well, but I like to use everything in Properties. It's kind of easier to do that. So click on this one, which is Unite, and now you see it combined that all into one shape. And we want this one to have an outline or a stroke. So just leave it the fill, it doesn't matter what it's filled with. Go over here to Stroke and pick 3. Well, let's make 3, and then make the color, it doesn't really matter what color. I'm just going to go with this cyan. You can pick a different color if you want. Not brown though. Make sure you pick a good bright color. So pick any of those colors that you want. The stroke is on 3, and then go up here to where it says stroke, because we're going to add some extra things to it. So if you don't have the stroke window open, as usual, go to Window, make sure stroke is open. And what you want to do is up here we said we wanted a 3-point stroke. Go and click all these on the end. All right, so click all these things. This makes the stroke go to the outside. This makes it just makes it more of actually, either one of those is fine. Either have a beveled edge. I kind of like the round edge, so let me change that. Align the stroke to the outside, make the corner round so it has a rounded edge. You'll see let me show you what the difference is. I'll blow this up a little bit. So when you have this on a corner point, it makes it pointy, but sometimes it makes these like hard edges, so that's why I like it to look rounded like that. And then the cap, you can just put it on that. All right, and then what we're going to do is we want to put this outline thing behind all that. So click on this and go to Object, Arrange, Send to Back. So we want it to be behind, and then just drop in that outline around both of those like that. And then the last step is you do the same thing that you did with your black version. Go to File, Export As, and you can just call it Science 2 or whatever you want. Make it a PNG, export, make sure it's on the same settings, and say OK. All right, so that's it. I'm going to be giving you, I don't know, probably 5 different words to make titles for each page.